details. What does this mean for us then, Liam?
I think today the Bank of England will keep interest rates on hold. The base rate is 5.25%. But unusually, mortgage rates now are going below the Bank of England's base rate. Why is that? Because mortgage rates reflect expectations about where interest rates are going to go. If you've got a 2-year fix, a 5-year fix, that's why mortgage rates now are going below the base rate on some deals. I do think interest rates are going to come down in the months to come. We had 14 rises. Let's have a look at a graph, if we can, because it wouldn't be a Liam Halligan studio spot on the money, even without the sting, if there wasn't a graphic, would it? Maybe we can see the graphic, and there it is. The magic of television. And are we going to see the line? And here it comes, maybe. Yeah, there it goes, like a little caterpillar across the screen. We see during COVID lockdown, interest rates went all the way down to 0.1%. We then had a staircase of rate rises, 14 successive rate rises, all the way up to 5.25%, where they have been since the summer. Inflation has come down a lot. It's come down from 11% at the back end of 2022 to 4% now, but that's still double the Bank of England's 2% target.
And it did go up last month.
And it went up just infinitesimally, a smidgen, from 3.9 to 4%. I think that was a blip. It could go up again when the number for January comes out later this month, because the Ofgem energy price cap has gone up. But look, history doesn't happen in a straight line. The general trend of inflation is down. That's why I do think we're going to get successive interest rate cuts from 5.25% starting in April or May.
After the budget.
That's why the Tories are playing the long game. If Rishi Sunak can hold on to power, hold on to his government, then he's going to go as long as he can before the general election, because he thinks interest rate cuts will generate a feel-good factor. The cost of living crisis, still very acute for a lot of our viewers and listeners, will ease, and the Tories might have a fighting chance of at least not humiliating themselves at the next general election.
History, Liam, back in '97, when the Tories were going into, they'd been in power for 18 years, smashed to pieces in that election, and yet when they were going into that election, the economy was doing very, very well.
And they gave, Ken Clarke gave Tony Blair and Gordon Brown an incredible inheritance, an incredible legacy of a growing economy, fiscal situation, the public finances were in good order, and of course Labour were able to milk that for the next 10 years. What about the public finances now? What about tax cuts? Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor, is out there managing expectations like crazy. He knows his own backbenchers are gunning for tax cuts, the tax burden at a 70-year high. We saw a tax cut. It came in this month.
National Insurance.
National Insurance going from the main rate from 12 to 10%. That's worth about 450 quid a year for the average worker, better than a kick in the teeth. They want another interest rate tax cut in this budget on March the 6th, and then maybe another tax cut in an autumn statement before a general election. That's their strategy. So what's going to happen on March the 6th? Hunt is saying there's not nearly enough room to cut taxes, as I thought there was, but he is just trying to manage expectations. So, when when there's a medium-sized tax cut, he says, I'm a genius, I'm a genius. Look at the borrowing numbers in December, right? In December, the UK government borrowed about 4 or 5 billion quid, right? That's way lower than December 2022. What did the OBR say the UK government was going to borrow in December? Not 4 or 5 billion, they said 11.6 billion.
Always get it right.
That's how incredibly over-gloomy they were. And yet Jeremy Hunt, as we speak, will now be in a, some kind of dance of the seven veils with the Office for Budget Responsibility. Are you going to let me cut taxes? Or if I do cut taxes, are you going to start briefing the press and start saying how irresponsible I am? So then the markets go nuts, which is what happened under Liz Truss. I think they're too powerful, the OBR. And I say that as a highly qualified economist. I think they're too cognitively similar. There's not enough diversity of thought within the Office for Budget Responsibility.
So they're in a little echo chamber. We are not. Thanks to you, Liam.